So, Jack Catterall versus Ekow Essuman has been rumoured for the Chris Eubank Jr. v Conor Benn 2 undercard. Now, this is an interesting fight. I think potentially poses some interesting questions that could be answered from both guys, honestly. Ekow Essuman obviously coming off the biggest win of his career, which is against Josh Taylor, in a fight where he just was able to outwork Josh Taylor. Early on in the fight, Josh Taylor looked good, because of course he is a former undisputed world champion, so he's a good boxer. He started the fight well, but Ekow Essuman just clearly was in far better shape and just outworked him on the back end of the fight and won a pretty comfortable decision win over Josh Taylor. But Jack Catterall is a better boxer, and he's got a lot more left in the tank than Josh Taylor does. Josh Taylor, by that point, he looked like he'd pretty much checked out, especially when he started off the fight really well and wasn't able to get Ekow Essuman out of there early. It felt like he sort of rolled over and showed his belly a bit, and Ekow Essuman just took over the fight, right? I don't think he'd be able to do that against Jack Catterall, because despite a lot of people criticising Jack Catterall for him being a boring boxer, he's a jab and move, a jab and hold. That's what he is as a boxer. He's not a big puncher at all. That's just what he is, right? And if you don't like that, don't watch Jack Catterall fights. That's the way he boxes. It works for him. He's won a lot of fights. He's lost to, of course, Josh Taylor, and I believe he lost to Arnold Barboza Jr. as well. Again, no shame in losing to those two guys. Of course, Josh Taylor was an undisputed world champion, and he arguably won that fight. So no shame in that. And Arnold Barboza Jr. sort of just outworked him as well, Jack Catterall, it felt like Arnold Barboza was just able to physically get to him a bit more and was sort of pushing that pace a bit more, and it felt like Jack Catterall couldn't really get out of second or third gear in that fight. I think that won't be the case against Ekow Essuman, because I think Jack Catterall will be able to be disciplined for this entire fight. He's coming off a big win against Harlem Eubank. Of course, Harlem Eubank had that cut, which, it was a weird stoppage, it was. But Jack Catterall was outboxing him. Harlem Eubank was being made to miss. He was looking sloppy. Now, Ekow Essuman won't be as sloppy as Harlem Eubank. Let's have it right. Ekow Essuman's a guy who's experienced at British and European level. He's gone through the ranks. And he's sort of learned, he's developed a pretty interesting style of boxing that's fundamentally quite good. And we saw against Josh Taylor, can even be effective against guys at a top level. That being said, I think Jack Catterall will be too disciplined, too high IQ of a boxer. I don't think Jack Catterall is capable of stopping Ekow Essuman. I don't think that, because Josh Taylor doesn't really stop anyone. So I think it'll be a pretty cut and shut routine win for Jack Catterall. And then after that, we'll see where he's looking, We'll see, because he'll be wanting, some of the top names at welterweight, following the wins he's had, world championship wins, beating Josh Taylor, losing to Arnold Barboza at 140, but at 147 now, he's going to be looking at some of those top names. If he can beat Ekow Essuman, who was just creeping into the top 10 after beating Josh Taylor, he's in with talks to get a big fight at 147. He's not commercially a big name, so that'll be one thing that maybe goes against him in terms of getting those big fights, but we'll see. I'd be curious to know what you guys think of this fight. Do you think it'll be a pretty routine win for Jack Catterall, or do you think Ekow Essuman can do another upset and get a win over Jack Catterall? I'll be curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.